Hello, for guided reading this week, there are 3 lessons for Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, but there is only 1 video because we are using the same text for all 3 lessons. So tomorrow and on Thursday, you can come back and watch this video again if you would like to. You might not need to, because if I show you the guided reading sheets for this week, the piece of reading that you need to do is on the sheet for each day. So if you want to come back and watch me reading it, you can, or you might be able to read it yourself from the sheets. Let's have a look. This week, we are learning to discuss which are the most important places in Eastleigh. And we are going to use our phonics knowledge to read a text, and we are going to answer comprehension questions about what we've read. Now, you might have noticed this wall links in to our work that we were doing in English this morning, and it's going to link into our topic work this week as well. And here is a picture of Eastleigh in 2021. Now, I got this picture from Google Earth. You might be able to have a look at home on Google Earth, and if you go on there, you can actually zoom in on places. This is what Eastleigh would look like if we were a bird flying really high up in the sky. There's the train station, and if I look hard, I can find our school is there. You can just see it in amongst the houses. I love the circular park on the Pirelli estate. It's really easy to spot on Google Earth. We've got the point mark there. That's the bandstand there in Eastleigh Park. This big bit over here is the Swan Centre. And then Places Leisure is not quite on this map. Places Leisure and Fleming Park are just over here. So if you would like, you can go and have a look on Google Earth at a little bit more detail of what Eastleigh is like now. But I'm going to take you back in time and show you, if this is what Eastleigh looked now, what it would have looked like a long time ago. This is what Eastleigh looked like in 1872. The railway is still there. There are a few roads, but all those houses and shops in the centre of Eastleigh haven't been built yet. In fact, there's only 1 row of houses just here next to the railway. And apart from that, the only places to live in Eastleigh are a couple of farms. Great Eastleigh Farm, which is in the middle of the Pirelli site. Some of you might live in roads named after that farm. And Little Eastleigh Farm, which is round about where the police station is in Eastleigh, which is being knocked down at the moment. So I'm going to read you a little bit about Eastleigh in the past. In 1838, a railway company built a railway from Southampton to Winchester. It passed through the small village of Barton. A station was built there, but as Barton was so small, the station was named Bishopstoke Junction. The railway company began to build cottages for its employees by the new station. By 1851, Barton had a population of 194 people, and Eastleigh had a population of 213. If we go back to this map, you can see Barton marked there, and Bishopstoke Junction, and Eastleigh was just the farms. In 1852, a cheese market was opened by the railway station. There's a picture of the cheese market, and again, if we go back to the map, you can see it marked just there. This here is the bridge that goes over from Eastleigh to Bishopstoke. So just behind that, where I think there's some railway works now, was a cheese market. In 1861, much of the land near the station was purchased, that means bought, by a man named Thomas Chamberlain. Now you might recognise that name Chamberlain, because Chamberlain Road, which is just out there, was named after him, because the land where I am right now used to be owned by Thomas Chamberlain, so when they built all the houses, they named that road after him. And the road just over this side of the school is called Cranberry Road. And funnily enough, Thomas Chamberlain, it says he lived on an estate called Cranberry Park, and Cranberry Road was named after where he lived. So Chamberlain Road was named after Thomas Chamberlain, and Cranberry Road was named after the place where he lived, Cranberry Park. We've got another picture on this page. These are some of the first cottages in Campbell Road. Now, you might have been to Campbell Road, you might live in Campbell Road, But what you'll notice that's a little bit different to nowadays, although the houses are the same, back then there wasn't a road going up in between the houses. There was a railway track. In 1868, the two villages of Barton and Eastleigh were combined into one parish, into one town. So they said, let's join them together. They're getting bigger. We're joining them together into one town. And a new church was built called the Church of the Resurrection. I wonder if any of you have seen this building recently. It still looks quite similar, but it's not a church anymore because sadly, when I was a little girl, that church burnt down. And it's now been restored. They've rebuilt it and fixed it and made it into flats. We might even have some children in year 2 that live in those flats. Or maybe you have family or friends that do. This is when it was very first built. And it was called the Church of the Resurrection. A woman named Charlotte Young from Otterbourne, or Otterburn, as it was known then, donated £500, which was an even bigger amount of money in those days than it is now, towards the cost of building the new church. And because she was so kind, giving all that money, she was asked to decide whether the new parish should be called Barton or Eastleigh. She decided to call it Eastleigh, changing the spelling to make it more modern. And you might recognise this statue of Charlotte Young, the lady who named Eastleigh, sat on the bench outside the train station. And we go back to the pictures that we've been looking at for English today, obviously in the present. And in English, you're thinking about which of these places do you think are the most important and what facts you can tell people about those places. And now we move on to think about Eastleigh in the future. Now, I made this flip chart last year, and when I made it, North Stoneham Park was still very, very new. Now, there are quite a lot of houses in there, but it's still not finished. This new housing site is still being built. Eastleigh is still getting bigger. As well as lots of new houses, the site will also contain shops, offices, and even a new school. Now, your guided reading sheets for this week, if I show you them here, they have got a page from the text I've just read you and some questions for you to answer about what you've read. So what you will need to do is have a little reread of that part again. If you find the reading tricky, come back and watch this video and listen to me reading it and have a go at answering the questions. Good luck!